The people who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
CBS Sports coverage of the 53rd Mobil Cotton Bowl Classic is sponsored by Mobil Super Unleaded, the high-octane gasoline with a plus. Nabisco brands. At Nabisco, we make products that make friends. Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. And by Budweiser and Bud Light, who will bring you Bud Bowl 1.
On this second day of January, we've been blessed with an ideal day in Dallas, Texas. 66 degrees currently. Humidity at 67%. It will stay cloudy with intermittent splashes of sun, but only a slight chance of showers throughout the afternoon, and a breeze out of the southwest, 6 to 12 miles an hour. And among those who is most pleased is Terry Donahue, the UCLA coach. Told Pat and me yesterday, we are an absolutely horrible bad weather team. So this is really terrific weather. There's Terry Donahue, who is going after his personal 7th straight bowl victory that would break a tie he currently holds with Bobby Dodd and Bear Bryant, and UCLA is going after its 7th straight bowl victory. Barry Foster will return for the Razorbacks. UCLA won the toss and selected to defer its option until the opening of the second half. So the Razorbacks will return. Barry Foster will receive the kick of Kurt Maggio. And Foster not excellent at kick returns, averaging under 20 yards per return. He's a terrific fullback, but that'll be irrelevant in this circumstance as the touchback will come out to the 20-yard line. Ken Hatfield and the Arkansas Razorbacks will open with Quinn Grovey, the sophomore from Duncan, Oklahoma, as the quarterback. Barry Foster, the leading ground gainer. They use 2 fullbacks there. And Joe Johnson and Aaron Jackson are the running backs. Tim Horton, the wide receiver. The tight end, who doesn't catch many passes, is number 86, Billy Winston. And here come the Razorbacks, their first appearance in the Cotton Bowl in 12 years, 13 years, and you saw that Grovey is undefeated as a starter. Quick pass, left side. The pass is caught by Barry Foster. And Arkansas throws on first down. The UCLA defense, led by a linebacking core which is hampered by injuries. Doug Klein replaces the leading tackler, Chance Johnson. Craig Davis, the other inside linebacker. And Billy Ray replaces an injured Eric Smith. Carnell Lake at 200 pounds, not the biggest linebacker in collegiate football.
He's got the most speed on this entire UCLA team.
Second down and 8. And a pure wishbone this time. Grovey keeps and picks up a yard. It's Barry Foster, beg your pardon.
Vern, if UCLA is going to win this game today, I think they need to play very good first down defense, because what Arkansas has done such a great job of all year long is maintaining ball possession. They'll get 3 or 4 first downs and either score or punt the football and make you drive the distance. So first down defense is key for UCLA.
Razorbacks connecting on 39% of their third down conversions. They have a 3rd and 7 here. Grovey scrambles and is dropped. Down at the 15-yard line, the tackle made by number 93, Brian Wilcox, the sophomore from Libertyville, Illinois. And Arkansas will have to punt.
Arkansas is a little bit different. They tell their quarterback that his receiver is not open right now. All we want you to do is scramble. Quinn Grovey was just trying to scramble around looking for the run, but he was flushed right into Brian Wilcox, who made the nice play.
That brings on Alan Meacham to kick. He has punted for an average of 41.6 this year. And this is a special part of this game because Darrell Henley averaging 13.3 yards per return with 2 for touchdowns. That's a line drive effort. And Henley bobbles the ball. Out of bounds. Who keeps it? Was it recovered or did it cross the sideline? UCLA ball.
A poor decision there by Darrell Henley. Ordinarily, when the ball hits the ground, a punt returner should just get away from it, particularly when you have a couple of defensive guys right on top of you. There's 3 Razorbacks around the ball. Darrell probably should have just let that one go, but he has such amazing confidence in himself that he thought he could make something out of a bad play.
Rodney Winston, number 32, diving for the ball after the hit by Bubba Barrow, but it went out of bounds, and now Troy Aikman. His first appearance in Dallas. He will play next year about 20 miles away from here at Texas Stadium.
You're certain about that, right?
I don't have a doubt one. First and 10, UCLA. They operate with 3 men split to the left. Shawn Wills opens in the backfield. And that's an incomplete pass on first down. Intended for Danny Thompson, who opened number 15. So a new wrinkle by Terry Donahue. Aikman opens at quarterback. You know about him. Eric Ball, despite playing with an injured ankle, will start today, and he's joined at fullback by Mark Estwick. The wide receivers, no speed here. Moore and Farr, and the tight end, a dandy Charles Arbuckle. Ball and Estwick in the eye on second down and 10. And an audible by Aikman. Eric Ball for a couple. Chad Rowland, the nose tackle, number 51, makes the tackle. Let's meet the secondary of this Razorback defense. Richard Brothers and Anthony Cooney are the corners. And the safeties, almost like twins, Patrick Williams and Steve Atwater. Atwater the more acclaimed, but Williams has 6 interceptions himself. Third down and 9. Opening moments of the ball game. Right side, Eric Ball short of the first down. And UCLA will have to give it up. LaSalle Harper makes the tackle on Eric Ball.
Well, the Arkansas defense did exactly what they wanted to do on the first series, and that is get Troy Aikman into a 3rd and long. They have not thrown the ball terribly well downfield all year because they don't have great speed outside.
Harold Barcade is on to punt. And Tim Horton is deep. Way up in the air. No fair catch call. And Craig Davis meets Horton.
No, I think he did have his hand up there.
Did he really?
Yeah, I thought he was waving.
Is there a flag? There is a flag, so he must have waved for the fair catch.
He took a couple steps to his left, and then he put his arm up.
Well, I was like Craig Davis. I didn't see it.
There's no fog today either.
We have mercy
interference against the kicking team. 15-yard penalty at the first down. We got a timeout. Television.
Watch Tim Horton. There's the wave. Yes, he did. Well, Craig Davis and I have something in common we didn't know about. Bad eyes.
There's a special place inside our hearts for people that we know. Friendships that have lasted, and children as they grow. If there were ways to wrap up laughter and keep it souvenir, we'd always have a pocket full to share through all the years. Now this gone, for all the times you brought a smile, turn a grown up to a child. These feelings we've known from the start. America's always known us by heart.
NC State. Mark Macon ignites the Owls against the Wolfpack. Iowa, North Carolina. A battle in the top 10. A doubleheader next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Hidden somewhere amidst the skyscrapers is Pegasus the horse on top of the Mobil building in downtown Dallas. Years ago, and for many years, it was the highest building in Dallas and was the headquarters of the Mobil Corporation, who, of course, are sponsors of the Cotton Bowl Classic for the first time this year. There's the offensive line of UCLA. Unable to move on first down. Bobby Menafield closest to the camera. Little chalk talk. Terry Donahue in his 13th year as head coach of the Bruins. Ken Hatfield in 5 years at Arkansas. First down and 10. Razorbacks after the 15-yard penalty. Foster hurdles over left tackle and gets out to the 38-yard line. Doug Klein, 48, caught up with him. Jim Mabry and Mark Henry opened the hole. Syracuse leading LSU early.
You know, most big guys like Barry Foster, who run 4.5, try to outrun you. But he's a guy with remarkable speed who will run right over you.
It was Foster, of course, who had the 80-yarder in the Miami game. And he tests the middle this time, and that'll be close for the first down, but apparently just short.
An interesting thing about this so-called flex bone of Arkansas, it's a variation of the wishbone, is most of their big plays come inside the tackles. Ordinarily, you think of the option teams, all the big plays come on the perimeter, but Arkansas, it's Barry Foster and Quinn Grovey from tackle to tackle.
Essentially, what is the difference in the flex bone and the wishbone?
All they really do is shift one or two of their backs up close to the line of scrimmage so they can be quick pass receivers.
3rd and 1. Double tight end set. That'll be close. Joe Johnson, number 19.
You know, Vern, most of us have seen the Oklahoma wishbone, and this is ordinarily the set with the backs right here. But what you see, the variation of the flex bone is they will move those two backs up on the wing where they can be quick pass receivers, and they still can run every option play out of the flex bone set.
And on that last play, the Razorbacks got their first down. Derek Russell checks in now as a new wide receiver. He's averaging an awesome 26 yards per catch. That's an interesting thing about Arkansas, known as a conservative ball club. But Grovey averages 9.9 yards per passing attempt. Here's Grovey on the option going left and picking up just a yard. Let's check the men who are protecting Quinn Grovey. The sophomore quarterback, Elbert Crawford, multi-dimensional player, has operated at a lot of different positions. Mark Henry and James Morris, big key today because Freddie Childress, the all-conference guard, is out. Morris moves to his spot and Henry gets a start. Mabry at left tackle and Rick Apolskas at right tackle. 2nd down and 9. Grovey averaging 4.7 yards per rush in 88. And he'll throw. Looks deep for Horton, settles for an alternate receiver. The pass incomplete, and a flag is down. That was Aaron Jackson, number 44.
You know, Vern, as we're watching Quinn Grovey, we talk so much about tangibles. You know, guys like Troy Aikman had tangibles. They're big guys who throw the ball downfield. Well, Quinn Grovey has intangibles, and what does that mean? Well, he doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't make bad plays. He moves the chains, and the players love to play for him.
Option resting with UCLA. It's a choice of 3rd and 9 or a 2nd down. And here's Gene Wirtz.
We have a face mask against the offense. That's a 15-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Take a look at the left of the screen and see if you can catch the face mask. It's right there. Apolskas grabbing, it looked like Lodish, number 94, right by the face mask. Good call by the official.
That leaves it 2nd down, but it's 2nd down and a ton. 2nd and 24. All the way back at the 26-yard line. And the Razorbacks will operate with 2 wide receivers now, something they don't often do. Horton comes way wide to the right, and Derek Russell is split wide left. Wishbone look in the backfield. And Grovey on a quarterback draw. That was a design play. And he's out to the 32-yard line before Matt Darby, number 43, makes the pop.
Again, you're going to see a lot of that from Quinn Grovey today. As you mentioned, that was a design play, but oftentimes when he drops back to actually pass, if his primary receiver isn't open right away, he will absolutely scramble.
Jimmy Williams, who is the throwing quarterback now, listed on the depth charts as the third man, but he checks in. For the season, he's only hit 16 of 25. He's got a 3rd and 17 here.
But he's got the best arm of all 3 of their quarterbacks.
Good pass protection. Deep right side. Picked off. Intercepted by Darrell Henley. And Henley has a UCLA ball at the 31-yard line.
Boy, that's a nice play by Henley.
And ironically enough, for an all-conference performer and an All-American, his first interception of the season.
But you know what? I don't think you measure Darrell Henley just by interceptions. He's a great leader, great run support, never's out of position. But this time he gets his first interception of the year. Pretty good protection there for Williams. He should have thrown the ball a little bit further outside, but Henley does a nice job of recovering, was beaten early, but drove on the ball and made the play.
UCLA first down at the 31. It comes at the 8:17 mark of the first quarter. No score in the ball game. That is the first turnover. Second UCLA possession. Eric Ball down at the 29-yard line. Tackle made by Reggie Hall, number 49. Darrell Henley, 4-year starter for UCLA.
It is remarkable that it was only his first interception, but quarterbacks have stayed away from him this year.
After Darrell Henley's pass interception, it's a UCLA ball, 2nd and 8. We're at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. Vern Lundquist, John Dockery, Pat Hayden. 2nd down and 8, UCLA. No score in the ball game. Blitz coming. Aikman on the sprint out. Chased by Atwater, lets it go, caught at the 19-yard line. UCLA first down, Mike Farr with the catch.
This is what makes Troy Aikman a little bit different than most big quarterbacks. He still has the kind of foot speed that you can sprint out with him. Talking to defensive coaches from Arkansas, they played against Steve Walsh, who's had an incredible year, but you don't have to worry about Walsh sprinting out. With Aikman, he has the kind of ability that he can do that.
Might that be one reason he is so often compared to John Elway?
And Roger Staubach, yes.
Right.
He's a great athlete with good foot speed.
Shawn Wills checks into the backfield. And again, the 3 wide receivers set to the left. Danny Thompson is in, makes the catch. And he's got on a first down pass play to the 16-yard line. UCLA offensive line, the best of the bunch. Frank Cornish at center, number 68. Rick Meyer and Lance Zeno.
And Zeno needs to have a big game today against Michael Shepard.
Bobby Menafield and Bill Page round out the offensive line. That's an interesting wrinkle now with Danny Thompson coming into the lineup on first down. He's only caught 3 coming into the ballgame.
And they've thrown 2 balls to them. They put him with 3 wide receivers on a side. They think he's going to get open quickly.
Backs in the eye. Option play. Aikman pitches. And Brian Brown is cut down. Richard Brothers, number 9, makes the tackle. And it'll be 3rd down.
Boy, Richard Brothers is a guy a little bit like Darrell Henley. Doesn't get a lot of credit. No interceptions on the years. But he always is in the right place at the right time, causing interceptions, although he doesn't intercept them himself. And great run support we saw there.
3rd and 8. Three-man rush by the Razorbacks. Aikman intercepted, picked off at the 8-yard line. LaSalle Harper gets his 2nd pick of the year.
And Vern, I think that ball was tipped.
Let's see.
The defense of Arkansas didn't think they could sack Troy Aikman. They think they can get their hands up. He takes short drops. The ball was tipped by Shepard, number 98, and that allowed Harper to step in front of the receiver. But Fred Goldsmith, the defensive coordinator, give him some credit. He said, we can't sack him because he takes a short drop, but we should tip some balls.
And Arkansas deploying a 3-man rush with 8 dropping back. And Shepard's tip ball intercepted by LaSalle Harper. First down at the 11. Grovey still has it. Fakes the option, is knocked down at the 20 by Henley. And that looked for a moment, and Grovey thought so as well, that he might go about 15 more. Let's go back to that interception by LaSalle Harper.
Take a look at right in here. I believe that is LaSalle Harper. It's this guy, LaSalle Harper. He is going to read Troy Aikman all year long, and Aikman has not all game long. Aikman has not thrown any interceptions this year, but that time Harper reads his eyes and drove on the ball and stepped right in front of the receiver.
2nd down and 2, scoreless first quarter. And that will not be enough. I don't believe enough for the first down. Joe Johnson, the ball carrier, number 19. That's been a trouble spot for the Razorbacks, that left halfback spot, because James Rouse, who had 1,000 yards a year ago, suffered a hyperextended knee against Texas and has been out since. And Johnson has attempted to pick up the load, but Rouse was a terrific ball carrier in that spot. Might play some today.
James Rouse has an interesting decision ahead of him, whether to enter the draft or come back next year as a Razorback. He has that option.
Stretch of the chain to see if Johnson got the first down, and did not. 3rd and 3 links. No score. 5:08 to go in the first quarter. Arkansas ranked 8th in the country, 10-1. First appearance here since 1976.
I was talking to Ken Hatfield about Quinn Grovey this week, and he said that Grovey is the best option quarterback that Arkansas has ever had. And they've had some pretty good ones there.
Double tight end set on 3rd and a foot. Foster driven back, didn't get it. Jim Waller, the emotional nose tackle, had terrific penetration.
And that's a nice play by Waller, who got off the ball incredibly fast. Watch, as soon as the ball is snapped, he's in the gap. And there's absolutely nowhere for Foster to go. He guessed right, was slanting right in the way to stop Foster.
That's the question I wanted to ask. Is that a guess or predetermined slant?
It's probably a predetermined call, and that's good coaching by the defensive staff to get him going in the right direction.
That'll bring on 4th down. And Alan Meacham is on to punt to Henley, who bobbled the last one. Henley, as we said, averaging 13.3 yards per return. Waits at the 45. And this time I mean, he zoomed away from the ball, waving his hand saying, I want no part of it. Meacham's punt down at the 43. 4 minutes exactly remaining. First quarter, Mobil Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
This is a brand new $18,000 car. Put in a leading motor oil. This is an identical new car. Put in Mobil One. Start them up and drive. Under extreme conditions, temperatures inside your engine can reach 570 degrees. Of course, Mobil One costs more, but then under extreme conditions, look at what can happen to conventional motor oil. Mobil One. Isn't your car worth the extra protection?
The Mercedes-Benz 560 SL Coupe Roadster. Is it the car you wanted above all others because of its mighty V8 power? Or its blend of quick reflexes and sumptuous comfort? Or its incredible workmanship and finish? Only one thing is certain. You will have the driving experience of your life. Finding out.
They're back.
Oh, that's nice.
All your old favorites. Back for the big double cheeseburger reunion at McDonald's.
And loving it.
We're reuniting the taste of our big double cheeseburger and...
Would you believe?
A new large order of hot golden French fries.
Let's commence to eat.
So hurry, McDonald's big double cheeseburger reunion won't last.
Don't tell me this won't last.
It won't last.
I asked you not to tell me that.
The 49ers, the Bears, the battle for the NFC Championship. Next Sunday on CBS Sports.
50,000 Razorback fans here in the Cotton Bowl, and they are watching one of the glamour quarterbacks in collegiate football, Troy Aikman, who has played 2 years at UCLA. And look what he has accomplished when compared with other great quarterbacks at UCLA in a 2-year period. Tom Ramsey, Dennis Dummett, Gary Beeman. Some guys like Shara didn't even make the list.
That's right, Mark Harmon either.
That's right. There is Troy Aikman, redshirted in 1986 after transferring from Oklahoma. And ironically, I think finished what, honorable mention? All Pac-10 this year?
Hard to figure out.
Isn't it, though? From the 43, 1st and 10, draw play. Brian Brown pops it up the middle as Terry Donahue continues to rotate his tailbacks.
What Brian Brown has and adds for UCLA is a burst through the hole. Eric Ball can pound it at you, but Brian Brown has the ability to take it all the way. And a nice block up front. Watch the left guard and left tackle, Meyer Menefield in particular. Zeno, the right guard, pulls there and creates just a little bit of a crease there for Brown to jump through.
2nd down and 1. McCracken and Keating are the new wide receivers now. They'll give it to the fullback, Mark Estwick. Estwick coming in with 227 yards for the year. And that should be enough for the 1st down, but there is a flag down. LSU has scored, and Oklahoma leads Clemson by 3. 2nd quarter at the Citrus Bowl.
Looks like it's going to be against UCLA, and that's what a coach always worries about in a bowl game.
We got a dead ball, personal foul against the offensive team, 15-yard penalty.
If that's a dead ball, it should be after the 1st down, right?
Well, you're right. But that's what a coach, Terry Donahue, is really worried about in a bowl game where you've had a few weeks off. You come in and it takes a while to get back into rhythm. Meanwhile, you have a lot of penalties.
They will move the chain and give UCLA the 1st down and then mark off the penalty.
The remarkable thing about Troy Aikman, there's lots of guys who can throw the ball hard, but he is incredibly accurate as well. I was talking to Atwater, the free safety from Arkansas, says, I can't believe the guy throws the ball that hard and that accurately.
I think the point you made in private conversation with me, too, about the fact that he's really had to excel this year because there's an absence of speed at wide receiver for UCLA.
Yeah, people don't realize that. He's had actually a much better year. He's had to play better this year because he's not surprising people and because he doesn't have the real deep threat that he had a year ago in Flipper Anderson.
Flipper Anderson, and the year before that, Mike Sherrard, or a couple of years. They don't have those kind of receivers is what we mean. 1st down. Aikman. What a collision at the 39. Gary Owens. And Corwin Anthony laid the block that protected Aikman's life.
Well, Kerry Owens has had a real nice year for these Razorbacks. One of their most versatile players. Has played a little bit inside, played in the secondary for a while, and now as an outside linebacker made the All-Southwest Conference team.
And one of 3 players from the rather small Arkansas town of Stuttgart, Arkansas. All 3 play a lot. 2nd down and 20. Here comes Owens on the blitz. Left side caught by McCracken. What an interesting combination. McCracken is knocked down. And a loose ball? Or was he down? He was down. McCracken thought he was going to be the starting quarterback. But how the fortunes can change with a broken leg at Oklahoma, an Aikman transfer, and all of a sudden this year McCracken requested a move to wide receiver.
You know, it's really the other side of the story. Although Troy Aikman's had a great career, here's a guy, Brendan McCracken, highly recruited at Loyola High School in Los Angeles, who thought he was going to have a chance to be the star quarterback at UCLA. Kind of a sad moment for him, but he's never complained all year long.
3rd and 19, final 90 seconds, scoreless 1st quarter. Ball at the 46 of UCLA. Aikman down at the 45, loses a yard. And give a lot of credit to that Arkansas defensive secondary.
Let's take a look at the secondary coverage because Troy Aikman had plenty of time to find a receiver 4 deep. And actually, they dropped 8 men that time, and there's just no creases in there, and then pretty good pressure by Roland, number 51. But that's good team defense for the Arkansas secondary.
That brings on Harold Barkate, 2nd punt of the day. Senior out of Lancaster, California, and Tim Horton waits for it at the 15. Nice high fair catch called. And Horton grabs it at the 14-yard line. 42-yard punt for Barcade. Nothing on the return for the second time. 30 seconds to go, first quarter.
How hot can it get inside your car's engine? This hot. 570 degrees under extreme conditions. Take a leading motor oil. Take Mobil 1 and watch. Of course, Mobil 1 costs more, but under extreme conditions, when you see what can happen to conventional motor oil, it doesn't pay to play with fire. Mobil 1. Isn't your car worth the extra protection?
That's our flight. It was too short, wasn't it? We were almost there.
What do you want to do?
Can we get the bags off?
What do you need?
Everything you need when you need some time together. Membership has its privileges.
40 years ago, 70,000 were at the Cotton Bowl to watch the powerful SMU Mustangs take on the Oregon Ducks. Norm Van Brocklin, the Flying Dutchman, kept Oregon close with his passing. But it was the dream backfield of SMU that overwhelmed Oregon. The dynamic twosome of Kyle Rote and Doak Walker combined for over 300 yards in leading SMU to victory in the 13th annual Cotton Bowl Classic. And I have a sneaking suspicion that both Kyle Rote and Doak Walker might be watching this game. Kyle up in New York City, and, well, Doak might not be watching. He might be skiing in Steamboat. Here's James Rouse, outstanding running back, hyper-extended knee against Texas. He has not played since, but he's worked out this week, and he will play right now. Over 1,000 yards a year ago, 359 yards in 88. Jackson got down by Billy Ray, number 35.
Well, it's a second nice play I've seen from Billy Ray thus far here in the opening half. He's filling in for Eric Smith. We did a great job there just staying at home. A lot of guys will try to over-pursue when you have a counter play, but he stayed right at home and made the play.
No score in the first quarter. Field position has been all UCLA. 2 turnovers, 1 interception for Aikman, 1 for Quinn Grovey. That's the end of the first quarter with the score 0-0. The Mobil Cotton Bowl on CBS Sports returns after this message and a word from your local station.
After rigorous examination of the Mercedes-Benz 300E, one automotive journal concluded that it may be the best sedan in the world, and another journal called it a nearly spectacular mix of performance and practicality. The Mercedes-Benz 300E. Now that it's astonished the experts, let it astonish you.
Come on, along. Come on, along. Head for the mountains. It's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Bush Beer.
When the people of Rehoboth, Delaware decided to clean up the waterfront, you know who they teamed up with? Hefty Cinch Sack. The garbage bags that could handle 1 mile of littered beach. Fill them up and they stay closed up. Open them up and put in more. It was a tough job, and certainly not one for a wimpy bag. Rehoboth Beach, reclaimed by the people, and Hefty Cinch Sack. The bag that makes it a cinch to keep America clean, and your little corner in it.
This is CBS.
Do you Events that shape our lives every day take many forms. How each of us sees those events depends on our angle, our point of view. Some are easy to outline. Others aren't so easy to pin down. But the events become clearer after seeing all points of view. Draw your own conclusions. Donahue at 4, 7 News at 5. The picture becomes clear.
They see each other through the window. Wind chimes tinkle in the distance. A premonition of love. He grabs a chair. He rams it through the window. She falls to her knees, pleading, "Oh, kiss me, Tom. Kiss me now."
A great movie deserves a great VCR. That's why Silo gives you more VCRs at much lower prices. Silo, because you deserve more. You deserve to save $20 on this 4-head VCR with on-screen programming only till Friday.
American students face a scientific crisis. A report on the problem at 5.
Welcome back to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. A scoreless opening quarter between UCLA and Arkansas. And hello once again, everybody. I'm Jim Nance here in the end zone, high above the Cotton Bowl. Now let's get you up to date on a couple of other games that are underway at the moment. They've just gone to the half between LSU and Syracuse. Syracuse leading the Tigers by the score of 10-7. And in the second quarter at the Citrus Bowl, it's Oklahoma leading Clemson by the score of 3-0. Let's take it back now to our game coverage. Vern Lundquist, Pat Hayden, and John Dockery. Fellas.
All right, Jim, thank you. Nice job on the parade this morning. You ever done a parade?
No, I have not. I've had a few parades rained on, but I've never done a parade.
It's not easy. Second down and 9. Arkansas operating from their own 16. Grovey pulls up and lets it fly and overthrows Tim Horton. Darrell Henley was defending. We go down to John Dockery.
You know, Vern, Pat was talking about the inside linebacker position being a concern for UCLA. Well, one of the reasons is their defensive captain, Chance Johnson, isn't playing. And Chance, what were you worried about most against Arkansas?
Well, one thing we wanted to do, we wanted to stop the fullback. Because if we don't stop the fullback, we can't stop Arkansas. So we felt coming into the game, we had to stop the fullback. And if we could do that, we thought we could run with them, you know, getting the ball to the pitch man.
You know, I have one more question, but let's go back upstairs to Vern and wait till after this play. Vern?
All right, John. Barry Foster, the fullback, 8 yards on 3 carries, so they have contained him. 3rd and 9. Grovey in trouble. Wiggles out of it, but is caught short of the first down at the 22-yard line. Jim Waller, number 66, with a tackle. And just an interesting footnote. He is accompanied now in that defensive line by a couple of fellows who haven't played much. John Pryor and Steve Mayer are in the lineup. Mayer, a senior, not even listed on the 2 deep.
You mentioned Waller being an emotional guy. He has been a dominant player at nose tackle for several games for the Bruins this year.
Darrell Henley back to return the 3rd punt of Alan Meacham. Those 2 touchdowns came against San Diego State and Nebraska early in the season for Henley. Rush coming. And Henley is going to have to chase this one. Meacham unloads a beauty. Inside the 10 and out at the 7.
You know, there's a pretty good win there behind Meacham, and I don't think Darrell Henley played for the win.
Believe it or not, that's not his longest. That's 71 yards. He had one of 80. We go back to John Dockery.
You know, Vern, what I was going to ask Chance Johnson is that you don't often see the wishbone and the flexbone in the Pac-10. Difficult to prepare for?
Not really. We played Arizona, and they run the wishbone, and wishbone, flexbone, they're all about the same. What you have to do is play assignment football. Everybody got to take care of their assignment. If you do that, you know, you can control it.
Well, good luck. Hope that knee gets well. Now back to you, Vern.
1st and 10, UCLA at the 7, following a 71-yard punt. Brian Brown across the 10 near the 12-yard line. If you're zapping around on this day after New Year's this afternoon, we'll bring you up to date. UCLA with 33 total yards and 30 penalty yards. Aikman has been intercepted once, so has Arkansas quarterback Quinn Grovey. We have no score. Early second quarter, 13:31 to go in the half. And Troy Aikman thus far is 4 of 6 for 23 yards. Left side, almost picked off. Richard Brothers defending. Brian Brown, the intended receiver.
We just talked about Richard Brothers not having interceptions, but he causes them because he's always right where he's supposed to be. Watch here as he steps up as Troy Aikman is trying to dump the ball off to Brian Brown, who's a pretty good receiver. The ball just a little bit high, but catchable. But there is Richard Brothers again, right in position, keeps the ball in play.
Richard Brothers, one of the married players on the Arkansas team, has a 6-year-old son, as a matter of fact, who is not here. 3rd and 6. 4-man rush for the Razorbacks, and Aikman will keep it. And cannot pick up the first down. The flag is down.
Might have called a late hit on the quarterback.
Gary Owens made the tackle, number 54. Here's Gene Wirtz.
We have a dead ball. Personal foul against the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
You know, Vern, it definitely was a late hit on Aikman, but ordinarily they wouldn't call this if this were a running back, but because it's a quarterback, they're going to call these kind of plays, and you have to know that as a defender. But again, good foot speed and how strong he is. A lot of the defensive players were amazed how strong Troy Aikman is. And there's the late hit right there by Otis Lloyd, number 36.
So that is a first down. UCLA benefit the 15-yard penalty. And Terry Donahue looks on.
Terry's, you can tell he's a coach from California. He wears pastels and worries about his cholesterol count.
Earth tones, first and 10. UCLA first down. Brian Brown. And he is knocked down at the 35-yard line by LaSalle Harper, number 31. Brown missed the first 5 games of this year with an injury.
I think one of the keys to this game thus far, Vern, has been that both teams have gotten themselves, when they've been on offense, in 3rd and long situations. The defense thus far has dominated this game.
2nd down and 6 now for UCLA. No score. 12:20 to go, first half. And Shawn Wills, the freshman, Danny Thompson, rather, checks in again. Shawn Wills goes left side. He's the young man who played so well early in the season.
Boy, they're beginning to work on Tony Allison, who is Wayne Martin's replacement, number 97, right there in the middle of your screen. Nice block there by Menefield on the left side. And that allows Shawn Wills to get to the outside and nearly the first down. But nice strategy attacking the replacement for an All-American.
3rd and short. From the 41. Fullback. Estwick appears to have enough to move the chain. Kerry Crawford, number 96, makes the tackle.
Mark Estwick is, they call him the sledgehammer. As you can see, he's a big old fullback, all 223 pounds of him. But he loves to take on linebackers. Coaches say when they call the isolation play, that's where he has to single block the linebacker. That's when he smiles most.
This is a UCLA team that can run the ball with great effectiveness. You hear so much about Aikman, sometimes a tendency to ignore their ground game. Here's a play fake. Aikman looks for Thompson, and he's hit as he lets it go. Gary Owens got the pressure. The All-Southwest Conference linebacker, number 54.
But he got the pressure because of good pass coverage early on. Watch Troy Aikman. He's going to try to throw the ball early to his right side, but has to kind of double pump because of good coverage. Wants to throw it there. Nowhere to go, and by that time, Kerry Owens and his friends were around him.
2nd down and 10. Kerry Owens, again out of Stuttgart, Arkansas. Otis Lloyd, the other outside linebacker, also from Stuttgart. 2nd and 10. Audible by Aikman. Brian Brown into the arms of LaSalle Harper, number 31. Harper, a junior college transfer, thought about going to Texas A&M, but then after a JC career opted to go to Arkansas. His hero is Mike Singletary, and he said one of the reasons is because of Singletary's record while he played at Baylor. Mike Singletary cracked or ruined 16 helmets. Harper said he's my kind of guy. I talked to Singletary last week about that, and Mike says, well, I remember 9 or 10. The other 7 are foggy. I said that's appropriate. 3rd and 7. Blitz coming from Owens. Aikman on a line, caught by Reggie Moore. First down, UCLA at the Arkansas 44. The tackle made by Otis Lloyd.
You know, a quarterback doesn't have to scramble to make a big play. That time, Aikman just stepped a couple of steps to his right to give himself a chance to throw the ball. And he's going to find, as you watch him, the pocket breaks down because of the blitz by Owens. Just a couple of steps to the right. Buys him just a little bit more time to find the passing lane to Moore.
That'll be a first down, UCLA, as Reggie Moore, the hero of the win over Washington, with a last-minute touchdown catch, makes the grab. Brown in motion wide left. Three-man Arkansas rush. Aikman, wide. Oh! Brian Brown bobbled it and dropped it.
This time, great protection for Troy Aikman, but the drop by Brian Brown, I think you're going to see him move his head right before the ball gets to his chest. Good offensive line protection by the Cornish and the two guards, but he turned his head inside a little bit. And you know, Terry Donahue said something interesting about Troy Aikman this week. He said, you know, he suffered a lot of drop balls this year, but he's never whined and never complained about it.
2nd and 10. Brown gets a block from Estwick, but will be tackled at the 40-yard line. That brings up a 3rd and long again. Ty Mason, number 46, makes the tackle.
You know, he hasn't ever complained, as we said, about throwing the ball or drop balls, but he keeps throwing the ball outside to his wide receivers as he's all year. He hasn't padded his stats by throwing the ball to the running backs. He gets the ball downfield. 7 touchdowns of over 40 yards.
And he's hitting 64%, 63% on 3rd downs. 64% overall for the year. 4-man Arkansas rush. Aikman sprints out. Lets it go. Caught by Mike Farr. And that's another UCLA first down as McCracken gets a little bit of a block for Farr. And the ball at the 28. Gary Crawford and Steve Atwater with the tackle.
Brendan McCracken, number 12, here at the bottom of the screen, gets knocked out of bounds, but he's allowed to come back in, and then he's going to make a nice block for Farr, who did a nice job of coming back to the pass. McCracken just doing anything he can to contribute for this team.
Lawrence Berkeley checks into the wide receiver for UCLA now. He is wide to the left. Mark Estwick tripped as he went up to the arms of LaSalle Harper. Well, get you up to date elsewhere on this bowl afternoon. Clemson and Oklahoma tied at 3 in the Citrus Bowl, 2nd quarter. And you heard Jimmy Nance bring you up to date on the halftime score. Syracuse leading LSU 10-7.
Jamel Holloway's last game at Oklahoma, perhaps the greatest wishbone quarterback of all time.
2nd down. And 8, blitz coming. Aikman rolls to his left. Has the option, and he'll keep it. And fights down to the 21, where it'll be 3rd and 3. Pat, this has been a very impressive, and I think by far the most impressive UCLA drive.
It really has, and they've mixed it up with some pretty good runs to Brian Brown, and then Troy Aikman's done a nice job of getting around in the pocket a little bit, taking a step to his right or to his left to buy himself a little bit time to find a receiver.
3rd and 2. No score. 7:40 to go, first half.
Most important 3rd down of the game thus far.
Razorbacks corners come up. Now they drop back. And again, it's a 4-man rush. Aikman across the middle to Brown, has a first down. LaSalle Harper with the tackle, but not before Brian Brown picked up a 1st and 1.
You know, Vern, I like to see a quarterback come back to a guy who's just dropped the ball, and Brian Brown did it just a little bit earlier, but Aikman came right back to him. He threw the ball right in his chest where he had nothing else to do but catch it.
And again, Brown has not been a fellow who's been used a lot in the passing attack. Just to re-emphasize the point Pat made a while ago, they've not thrown much to the backs. He had only 8 catches coming into this ball game. 1st and 10 at the 16. No score. 7 minutes to go. First half. And Brown fights over right guard down near the 12-yard line. This is a UCLA team that demolished Nebraska in game number 2 and set such a high level of expectation that the remainder of the season had a kind of a blemish on it because they could never get back up to that kind of peak.
Well, Terry Donahue said beating Nebraska like that was kind of a blessing and a curse.
Second down and 7. Arbuckle in motion. Toss to Brown. Estwick with a block, and Brown, as helmets fly off, is down at the 11-yard line. Reggie Hall, number 49, made the tackle.
Boy, both of these defenses have really done a nice job thus far. I mean, there has not been a whole lot of big holes or many big holes for guys to run through. It looked like there's going to be a space for a minute, and boy, it closes down very quickly.
This is an Arkansas defense that has given up an average of only 2.6 yards per rush and less than 100 yards per game. 3rd and 5. Scoreless first half. Aikman gets a terrific block on a line to the 5, and McCracken is out of bounds with a 1st and goal at the 1.
Well, you have to be happy for Brendan McCracken in his last game at UCLA, and he did a very nice job of helping Troy Aikman there and coming back. You're going to see as Aikman rolls out to his right on the designed rollout, McCracken went into the end zone and then came all the way back and catches the ball on about the 3-yard line to pick up the first down. A heady play by McCracken.
Mike Barr roving in the end zone, waving his hands. There's McCracken, the one-time quarterback at UCLA. And Terry Donahue said it was his request to switch to wide receiver in the spring. 1st and goal, UCLA. Estwick, touchdown, UCLA. That's just his 3rd touchdown of the year. And the Bruins break the scoreless tie.
Drive by the Bruins. They mixed it up very nicely with some inside runs to Brian Brown and a couple of key 3rd down pass completions from Aikman to McCracken.
That drive took 8 minutes and 20 seconds and 19 plays, 93 yards after the 71-yard punt. Here's Velasco with the extra point.
Take a look at the center and the right guard, Cornish and Zeno, who do a nice job of clearing the way for Estwick. They get low, so there can be no penetration by the Razorbacks, and Estwick just dives into the end zone, and UCLA is up on top, 7-0.
When Delta Airlines Steve Masutka found a wedding ring,
The person who lost a ring, please return to Delta's gate B6.
I'll be standing over here. He knew someone had to be very unhappy.
Young man, are you the one who found my ring?
Yes, ma'am.
This means so much to me. How can I repay you?
This is part of my job, ma'am.
This is your territory. First Interstate Bank territory, where First Interstate has offices in more cities and states than any other bank system. So you can move anywhere across the territory and have your bank account waiting. From Hawaii to Wyoming, Arizona to Washington. So open an account at First Interstate and you'll get a warm welcome all across our territory. First Interstate Bank, we go the extra mile for you.
You know, some things in life are as inevitable as the tide. I always thought there really wasn't anything I could do about my hair loss, until I talked to my doctor. He diagnosed my problem. We talked about the treatment options. It's good to have the medical facts. And the fact is, there may be some hope for me.
See your doctor if you're concerned about hair loss.
Welcome back to the Cotton Bowl, folks, and you just witnessed the longest drive in Cotton Bowl history. Troy Aikman, very impressive on a 19-play drive. The one that was longest before that was some 25 years ago, an 18-play drive by Duke. So Troy Aikman looking very impressive today on that. Most plays in a drive as UCLA takes the lead 7-0. Now back to you, Vern.
All right, John, that was not the longest drive in terms of yards. Just to clarify that record is 97, but that was a 19-play drive. Duke did it in 61. Texas did it twice, both times against Notre Dame in 70 and 71. Here's Kirk Maggio's kickoff. Barry Foster moves up and grabs it at the 5-yard line. Out to the 26. Sean Howard with the tackle of a 20-yard return. Football on Monday, basketball comes to CBS this Saturday. Temple and North Carolina State at 2 o'clock Eastern time. We've got a doubleheader for you. Tommy Heinsohn will be joining me at that game, and then a dandy coming up as the second half of the doubleheader. Iowa against a North Carolina team that gets J.R. Reed back. That's at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Next Saturday on CBS, 1st and 10, Razorbacks. James Rouse comes left and is down at the 28-yard line.
Well, what the UCLA defense wanted to do was to stop Barry Foster inside, and thus far in this game, that is exactly what they've done. They've forced Arkansas to go to a couple of other options. That's Quinn Grovey on the outside, and they've thrown the ball. Arkansas has had to throw the ball more than they ordinarily would.
Second down at 8. Reverse. Derek Russell. Say hello to Marcus Patton, number 49.
A nice discipline by Marcus Patton. That's the easiest thing to do as an outside linebacker, is get fooled on a reverse. But Pat, number 49, stays right at home, does only his job, lets the other guys do their jobs, and there's nowhere for Russell to go. It's a nice play.
Patton, the junior out of Hawthorne, California. Back up to Carnell Lake.
And this is the 4th, 3rd, and long situation that Arkansas has faced in the first half.
Maybe they could emulate Michigan State's Andre Rison on 3rd and 44 last night. There's a flag down, and the pass is incomplete. And the option might rest with the UCLA Bruins. Terry Donahue, who says his one remaining goal at UCLA is to win a national championship. Thought they had a chance this year. They were ranked number 1 until they ran into Washington State.
An offensive face mask. 15-yard penalty.
You know, talking about Terry Donahue, I think he's one of the most underrated coaches in all of America. He has really built a program at UCLA. Didn't inherit one. Had some things going against him, in that he had a battle Southern Cal in town. And when he took over, it was noted as a basketball school. But he has really turned it around and done a sensational job of building one of the best football programs in all of America.
That penalty declined, and Terry Donahue quite proud of this. They have won 6 straight bowl games. They can break a record they share with 4 other schools by winning today. And Donahue can become the first coach to win 7 straight. That record he shares with the great Bobby Dodd and the equally great Bear Bryant. Henley back to return Meacham's punt. And again, Meacham causes havoc for Darrell Henley, who had to go back and make a center field catch. A 51-yard punt. And time has been called in the shadows of the city of Dallas.
I really can't stay.
But baby, it's cold outside.
I gotta go away.
But baby, it's cold outside.
At 35 degrees below zero, this is conventional motor oil. But Mobil One still flows freely to protect vital engine parts faster.
I simply must go.
The answer is no.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Get Mobil One and beat the cold.
I'm talking cold.
America's leading